logical conclusion that more Muslims are affected than Christians. And it's now shocking, actually, and surprising that Trump will now selectively indicate that Christians are being targeted, when the reality is that both faiths are being affected.
So what is really going on in Nigeria? A far more complex story of ethnic and religious divisions amidst struggles for scarce resources that goes deeper beyond the headlines you see.
A towering giant has fallen, a chapter closed, but the story of a legend echoes far beyond the final breath. Let's take a look at key life lessons to learn from the life of the late Alhaji Aminu Dantata. Alhaji Aminu Alhassan Dantata, businessman, philanthropist, and elder statesman, passed away in Abu Dhabi on June 28, 2025, at the age of 94. His body was laid to rest in the holy city of Medina. From kola nut trader to empire builder, Dantata's journey began in the dusty streets of Kano. By 17, he was already leading the family business founded in Bichi, a lineage of wealth, wisdom and work ethics passed down by his father, Alhassan Dantata, once West Africa's richest man. The late Aminu Dantata is an uncle to Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote. Alhaji Aminu Alhassan Dantata built industries in agriculture, real estate, manufacturing, and construction, but he never forget the poor. In 2024 alone, he donated 1.5 billion naira to flood victims in Borno. Across Nigeria, his philanthropy became folklore, quiet, vast, and saving. President scholars like US-based Dr. Kadi, legendary icon. Northern governors declared it national loss. President Bola called it monumental, and indeed it is. Dantata believed wealth meant nothing if it did not uplift others. He lived in Kano's poorest quarters, taught children to build from dust, and showed that dignity isn't won, it is lived. Alhaji Aminu Dantata is gone, but his values, humility, dedication, and devotion endure. He did not just build wealth, but unfading kind of hope. And in a time of uncertainty, that is the rarest wealth of all. May Allah have mercy on the soul and grant him Jannatul Firdaus.
You wake up one morning in Abuja, and your favorite loaf of bread is now 1,500 naira. Yesterday, it was 500 naira. Next week, it will be 2,000 naira. You have the same money in your wallet, but somehow you can't afford to buy much with it. This is inflation. Inflation happens when prices rise and money loses its value. Despite theoretical estimates that the Nigerian economy is improving, food prices remain high while many Nigerians earn less.
I did sales girl work for somebody. I run someone's shop and I earned only 35,000 naira in a month. And I paid 800 naira for transport every day. And I feed like 1,000 a day. Let me say I spend like 2,018 in a day. And I earn 35,000 naira at the salary. And I pay house rent. I pay NEPA bill. I buy food at home. I do a lot of things. So the salary is not enough for me because things are too expensive. Everything's hard.
The power of money lies in purchasing power. What goods can you buy with your money? What can you buy with 50 naira today? Pure water? In the past, you could buy one egg for 50 naira. Now, it's 200 naira. When your naira can buy less food, less fuel, and less of everything, it loses its value. So how did Nigeria get here? Prices have been rising at over 30% annually. There's an estimated 30.6 million Nigerians at risk of food insecurity. Why is this happening? Nigeria's major source of income is oil. When the country sells oil to the world, it earns dollars. But when oil prices drop, Nigeria earns less money. Inflation is a redistribution of power. With the removal of fuel subsidy in 2023, the cost of fuel rose by more than 200%.
Kalubale da yawa saboda ƙarin kuɗin mai ya jawo abubuwa masu yawa waɗanda suka danne mu matasa misali. Na ɗaya, lokacin da muna shan mai mu cika tankin kekenmu naira 1,200, za mu ɗauki al'umma naira 50 zuwa AY. Yanzu a ƙaramin tanki na keke napep in takaice magana zai ci kamar naira 8,000. Sana za ka zo kana ɗaukar mutane naira 300 zuwa AY. A 300 ma wanda zai zo ya ce ka taimaka mashi a 200, a cikin mutum 100 mutum 90 zai ce taimaka mana 200 gare ni. So mu kuma ba za mu iya cewa ba za mu taimaka ba. Muna ɗauka idan muka kai mutum ya ba mu 200, ƙarshe idan muka zo muka lissafa za mu zauna, za ka cire kuɗin balas, za ka cire kuɗin da za ka keke ka service, da yaushe ka ajiye 'yan kuɗin da za ka sha ruwa da su ba zuwa gobe.
From the farms to the markets, transportation now costs more because of fuel prices. This in turn affects the price of everything. The market woman who bought a basket of tomatoes for 5,000 naira must now charge you more just to survive.
Mun kasuwa ina inda muke siya? A'a, mun inda muka je siya, duk abin da aka sa farashi shine za mu siya, ba wai ko abu ɗaya bane ba. In muka siya da tsada za mu sayar da tsada, in muka siya da sauki za mu sayar da sauki. Duk mai sai kaya haka ya sani. Dan saboda yanzu yau na iya zuwa na je da sai kaya 10,000. In jiya na siya 15, sai in wanda ya zo sayan kaya na zan iya ƙara masa hannu akan na jiya.
The bitter truth is, inflation hurts the poorest most. If you're wealthy, your money sits in assets, land, stocks, and maybe even foreign currencies. So if you're living naira to naira, watching prices double while your salary stays flat, you're getting poorer every single day without spending a kobo. In reality, inflation is a measure of whose labor, whose time, whose life is being slowly devalued. When one business raises its prices, it leads to other businesses raising their prices too. And so the endless cycle of inflation continues.
Good afternoon and welcome to Spotlight right on S24 television. Today we speak to a man whose words often arrive with anger, discomfort, pain and urgency. Ibrahim Garbawala, popularly known as IGWala, is known publicly as an anti-corruption activist, human rights advocate, entrepreneur, environmentalist and political voice. But beyond the public titles, they represent something far more complicated. The voice of a citizen who believes Nigeria is not simply failing by accident, but failing by design. In a recent open letter to comrades in the South, he argued that the North's inability to join structured protest is not indifference, but the result of a deeper warfare. Systemic poverty, illiteracy, hunger, insecurity, and the painful history of protests being hijacked or violently suppressed. In another letter to Nigeria's leadership, he warned that the silence of Nigerians should not be mistaken for consent, but as a record of grief being kept by the next generation. Today, we are not here to praise IG Wala. We are not here to attack him as well. We're here to interrogate the argument. Is northern silence really silence? Is hunger becoming a weapon against citizenship? Who benefits when legitimate anger becomes chaos? Can northern Nigeria build a disciplined civic movement without burning its own street? And what does IG Wala now see in the ADC and his handshake movement that he believes can change Nigeria's political culture? Welcome to S24 Spotlight on Comrade IG Wala. You like for us to address you as Comrade.
Yes. Well, Halima, thank you very much. I couldn't believe what I had. Was that a citation?
It's an introduction.
Wow.
You wear so many cards.
I've never had that, but I'm honored.
Thank you so much for, within a very short period of time, agreeing to come on this show. We really appreciate that. And we need to apologize to our viewers that we said we're going to start at 12 o'clock, but we're behind schedule. It was due to technical glitches and the Nigerian road thing. You know, sometimes you expect to arrive at a destination in a particular time, and maybe road congestion gives you a different outlook entirely. Again, welcome to the show.
Thank you. So my apologies to the audience as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So let's start with this. Who is IG Wala when the slogans are removed? Because you wear so many caps, but who are you when the slogans are removed?
Yeah, Ibrahim Garba Wala is IG Wala, as simple as that, a Nigerian citizen, an activist. Yeah, I have never taken that position of an activist, not until, well, maybe I was given the crown by going to prison.
That experience, I think we get to talk about that a little.
So, activism, because the system is not working for us. And so I decided to speak. So when you speak, even if it's just on a small matter, for as long as it has to do with a lot of people's life, you'll be tagged as an activist.
Yes,
obviously.
That's the reality in Nigeria. And it's everywhere. When you speak for the masses,
you
for
have
the
to
people
speak
affected.
For others, because for speaking for others, you're speaking for yourself. And also, looking into, especially when you look at the majority, they are not as privileged as you are. And when you don't agree with it, you feel, no, you just decide on your own to speak for convenience whenever it matters to you alone. No, you can't be referred to as an activist. But when you speak on issues that cut across the divide, irrespective of whatever correlation or whatever kind of dichotomy, for as long as it is in the interest of humanity in the country or the society, I think it has to do with you also as a person. This is my perspective.
Yes, and that's really germane, because some people you would recognize them with selective amnesia. If it is affecting the people of their region, they are part of it. If not, because especially when it comes to insecurity, a lot of people feel like when there is silence, it's known for a region, and when it is another region, they are very loud, something like that.
But
and
what
the
happened
fact that
when it goes round?
To find out people, the most work needs to be done.
I think this is a privilege for me to be asked this question. I was an entrepreneur. When I thought of building the largest business database in Africa, I pushed to the extent that I was able to call for recruitment, because there was a kind of a proof of concept at the extent that people were seeing us vividly on the streets. That's the product was coming up then. Now, suddenly, when I called for recruitment of not less than 50 people, I wanted to have structures across the country. Suddenly, that invitation that we asked those interested to come in, guess what? We got over 2,000 proposals, like CVs.
For 50 positions.
In fact, less than 50 positions. But what happened was the very day the streets we had over 1,000 people on the street. Yes, even when we shortlisted. In fact, it took somebody from the authority to use his convoy to drive into the crowd, force himself into the office, and begin to ask if we must recruit his own daughter. And I said, no, sir, you cannot intimidate us with your position, with the convoy, just for your daughter alone to be employed here. I refused that. And that was the moment I started being active as a citizen. I said no. When I went to the balcony and looked at the number of people sitting under the trees waiting for their turn.
Over 1,000.
Yes. So I said to myself, no, if I can believe in myself, I think it's high time for everybody to do that.
To believe in themselves.
But how can such individuals, such people also believe in themselves without somebody talking to them? I began to speak. I started talking. And that was how, that anger, that frustration, and what I saw about self-confidence and self-belief that made me to push and get to that point. I mean, many others can do the same thing. That was the beginning of everything.
So should I say activism chose you or you choose activism?
Well, both sides.
Okay.
I was left with no option that I was at the middle of it, so I couldn't just either turn away or move in. So I took the decision.
So what did confrontation teach you about power?
Yeah, wow. First, I so much thank God that I survived it. Yeah, I remember the day I lied down before a moving truck just to make a statement. We were begging for the police to allow us to actually even stand with the crowd somewhere. They refused.
You stand?
Yes, the only thing I could do was the police truck that was trying to move some of the men and also position them with their arms against the crowd. And I was instrumental to pulling most of the people in that crowd. So I felt the safety of those people rely on the decisions I make.
Wow.
Now, for me to put a stop to that, we begged the police, we negotiated, we asked them to please understand. They refused to. The only thing I could do was, okay, your moving vehicle should crush me. And they stopped, and they all shouted, abort, abort, mission abort, whatever, their own technical terms. And that was when I saw they were pulling out the guns and the tear gas and all that. They said, allow us. That was when somebody representing the Commissioner of Police now came to me and said, no, don't do that. It hasn't gotten to that. I was like, oh, okay, so this is the language you people understand. That's the extent.
Wow, that's really amazing. I'm gobsmacked and I'm trying to really internalize and see if I was the one in that position, what would I do? Well, God forbid. So would you say unequivocally that the prison refined you?
No, I refined the prison.
You did?
Yes.
Please take us through that.
Exactly. Now, in the first place, if we talk about prison in Africa, it's more like starting to look at it from even the matter that took you to the prison. Now, because it was an alarm regarding corruption taking place somewhere else. And alarming that, I did it using the social media instruments, the platforms we have.
Yes.
That would have been, if I had not had the opportunity to use the social media,
Internet.
probably these same forces would have actually found a way to cajole me on their side and suppress me probably. So with that, now it took me to realize that from the moment my voice was out there, pointing out what I saw, that was the very moment they started their own plans. They picked even the policemen to arrest me, the courts, in fact, the person that the courts that they took me to, they also handpicked even the judge and handpicked even the prison I was to go, handpicked even the prison officers that were to actually take care of me. So why I said I learned, I reformed the prison, because when I went in there, it was not a program for even someone as an activist, no, talk more of the criminals, that the prison, we all believe that it is meant for the criminals. Because I checked through the activities in the prison. Halim, I'm telling you this, there is no single program that is actually meant to reform, to correct.
Now that they call it correctional service.
Exactly. I've said this thing, even from the police cell. What I've realized, I've met a lot of young people that you don't want to hear their stories. And I refuse to say it, I refuse to keep quiet. Even right in there, I started fighting for their right. And I said, no, you need somebody to stand by you.
For you?
Yeah, exactly. And stand for you as well. Because if you think what you have done is wrong and you are realizing that, given another chance, you'll never do that again. It's because of the system. It's because of probably some of you people have wrong or bad parenting and all that. These things actually culminate into what young people are going through. I understand. But when you take these people from the police cell, now you take them to court, and the next thing the judge will like pronounce whatever he feels like, and the next thing these people find themselves in a Black Maria, being moved to the prison. In fact, what I see happening between the police, the judges, and also the prisoners, I see a deliberate design to actually create a place where people are being counted on numbers. So that this serves as an opportunity for a government agencies to be given a budget so that they count the number of people they feed. Yes, because these people, some of them are innocent, but your number as a criminal, as someone in this correctional center, matters.
Can we correct that? Because I think there's been allegations against these services. If you go to the prison yourself, you see what is obtainable. Myself, I've visited a prison before. I don't want to, as following an NGO, I don't want to be part of anything like that again. But do you think we can change that perspective?
No, if we talk about changing the prison, I think it's much more of changing the leadership of this country and changing the mindset of lots of young people right from the time they're in school. Because if we are to build a country, it means we need to actually find where these problems are. And most of these problems are fundamental issues, whereby perception. You can imagine a policeman, just for being a policeman wearing his uniform, he is perfectly feeling like he is much more better than the person he is policing. Now, you see, that's a mindset.
Yeah,
and at the same time, this same policeman is willing to use force, to even use his arm against a citizen who is not even convicted. Even if he's convicted, it's not the policeman that is going to take his gun and aim at that convict. So this is a mindset. That's why I'm saying we have to do this. Because the policeman, I actually want to become the instructor of the police. And he is part of the police making and decision making as well.
I think we'll get to the system again. Just simply, people call you activists, some call you entrepreneur, some call you politician. What should the general public in Nigeria call you?
I think because of this concept that we're in, if we are to talk about entrepreneurship here, call me an entrepreneur, I'll fit in. But if you call me an activist, I love that more, because sincerely speaking, it's not about wearing the title. It's about motivation. Exactly.
Embodying.
It's
the true title.
Exactly. So let it be that you're encouraging me to do more of this than just saying, no, you're not an activist anymore, you're a politician. I was like, oh, so you don't want me to talk again about it. Anyway, so whatever circumstances
we want you to embody the best of you. And thank you so much. With this, we'll go on a short break. And Liberty Symposium event is going to be shown at the break. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, it's still Spotlight on, right on S24 television, and we've been speaking to Comrade IG Wala, popularly known as an activist, but I think we'll touch base on the politician side as well as we continue this conversation. So before we go further, it is important to make one thing clear. This conversation is not about reducing Northern Nigeria to hunger, illiteracy, or failed leadership. Northern Nigeria is far bigger than that. It is a region of so many things: scholarship, education, faith, enterprise, agriculture, culture, political influence, community resilience, and civic potential. But it is also a region where protest carries particular risk. We have seen moments where demonstrations that began with legitimate grievances became vulnerable to taking over, looting, violent confrontations, curfews, arrest, and death. So when IG Wala writes that Northern protest is weakened by poverty and illiteracy, the question is not whether the North is capable of civic action. The question is deeper. What conditions make civic action difficult? What turns legitimate anger into disorder? Who benefits when protest loses discipline? And how can Northern Nigeria build a protest culture that is organized, protected, issue-based, and impossible to dismiss or as struggling into a simple question? What do you think?
Apologetically speaking, I don't. I understand. It's a matter of perception. I understand it. So people sometimes don't get see the value in what we do.
Yeah.
I do, not because they don't like me. I understand that. Simply because sometimes the expectation, we as humans, we cut shorts of their expectations on what we do. So I don't dwell much on how people perceive me, because some few months or few days or weeks ago, somebody, the same person that was condemning you, and the next
Switched.
it switched to say, well done and thank you.
Wow.
So I think it's just a human factor.
Yes.
So I don't think I understand people. Yeah, people can.
It's just people
Exactly.
sometimes. So you wrote that the North is not indifferent, but weakened by design. What do you mean?
Sincerely, my sister, when you started introducing this particular segment, I felt touched and emotional rather. I am a victim of what happened during protest. Yeah, in Kano, I lost everything in just one day.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
When
this
was
is one
that?
story that most people do not know.
Do you want to quickly take us through that very briefly?
Just briefly, the same business I told you I set up in, trying to build the largest business database in Africa. Finally, I landed into the e-commerce, building an e-commerce platform from Lagos office, Port Harcourt, Imo, down to
Kano.
Abuja and Kano. During this tough moment for the business, I decided to put all this down to Kano. That was when I moved some staff from Lagos and Port Harcourt. We all converged in Kano. Got a house, got an office, we were operating there, trying to build all the markets, have the data and the markets on our platform. Guess what happened? During the 2024 End Bad Governance protest. I left Kano to Abuja in my house, and the next minute there was going to be protest the next day. I said, okay, close the office today so that tomorrow that place won't be, there won't be anybody. Trust me, I never knew that that was the end of the business.
Oh my goodness.
Now, it's not about ending the business. I lost so much there, but that does not concern. What matters to me, staff, I knew how a lot of them struggled to get the job. And at this point, that we were actually so excited with what the growth of the business, over 150 agents across all markets in Kano worked for us, including about 30 staff in the office. Halima, the next day, all of this family, that was the end of their paychecks, no more. Them leaving their homes to come to office, no more. It's just like this building with the staff in. Just you did not plan it, you did not see it coming.
And then
tomorrow morning, this place, let's assume everything, no single thing, including this bottle, was taken away, destroyed. The building structures down.
Was the building yours?
No, it wasn't. Rented.
Rented.
Yes. So imagine that.
That's so
that actually touched me more. Till today, the government of Kano, no single letter to say sorry. Yeah, a committee, we had a call, somebody called and said the committee said, you people should come forward. We went forward, we documented everything, we followed it. As long as we are not politically inclined, the Kano State government did not bother.
Unfortunately, I think there should be a way to get a succor from that.
So I'm not complaining, but I'm trying to let you see why I wrote that letter. When I was writing, people could not see. It took someone who has actually been a victim
to write it like
out.
that.
Exactly.
Well, I went through the comment section, and when I went through the comment section, of course, you would always get people with myopia, not thinking beyond their nose. Yeah. But of course, from the comment section, you know people who understand where you were coming from, and the people that were just
90%.
Yeah.
90%.
It's so sad. I'm so sorry about your
Thank
experience.
you. Thank you.
So, in what ways do you think we can discuss Northern Nigeria poverty?
The flaws. First, whereby we all have whatever it takes. In fact, I am so proud to be a Muslim.
I am as well.
Exactly. And I am so proud to have Christians in my family, my brothers, my friends. We all school together. We all do things together tomorrow. I don't believe in this division, this dichotomy that we found ourselves living in. So talking about the potentials in northern Nigeria and the challenges, I think dwelling on the challenges is because we want to face reality, especially at this point where history is demanding so much from us, because the records are being set, and one day we don't want a distortion in the narrative that the future generations are going to see. That is why we're trying to tell the elders and the leaders to say to them, come, don't get us wrong when we speak ills about ourselves or about our society. What matters to us is about the reality that is hitting us today. And these realities did not just happen today. It's actually, we saw the trajectory coming. And you people fail to address this thing. You know, there's a culture in the north. We all know, both Christians and Muslims. The moment someone hurts you, someone actually trampled on your right, the next thing that can happen is for people to begin to say to you, Kaya. Now, this Kaya, is it enough to solve the problem?
No.
Now, a lot of people piled up their anger within. Now, the same thing, a child or a family that maybe let's say the father that lost his farm, right, to probably harvest. Now, the community will not address that issue. The next thing, the whole community is coming to this person, including those that are supposed to address this matter. They will come to this father.
Saying, be patient, sorry about it.
Exactly, sorry about that. And they expect you to take the sorry
and just
and
move
go
on.
home and take the sorry and serve as food to the
your
plates,
family.
to your family. How can that help that particular man and his child that is watching what has been done to his father?
It's just a simple analogy.
Exactly.
For the late Major General Raibida that died in the bush.
Tell me.
I was just discussing with someone very important this morning to see these things, they've been accumulations of a lot of things. What do you tell the child of this man? The mom is still in the bush. And I think that's where we should address the root causes. In what ways do you think we can address
now,
that?
you see, I wish it's something me and you can just leave the studio to just go to the war front and begin to change things. No, it's not that. Because it's something that has to do with authority. Why the authority? The authority, in the first place, the budgets of the taxpayers are being culminated into what supplies the arms. Now, it's about kinetic
and
energy.
non-kinetic as well?
No, I'm talking about the force.
Okay.
We don't have the authority to assume the position of that power that has the instrument to actually suppress the criminals over there. So I am saying, if that is the case, it is very important for the government to come in when it comes to rescue. It is not you and I, because we're armless, we're defenseless. Now, if we are to deal with this crisis as it is today, there has to be that immediate measures on how to deal with what is burning, the fire that is burning. Then, while this is being attended to, also somewhere beneath, also that long-term and that permanent solution is also being implemented.
So it's like to say the short-term, the medium-term, and the long-term.
Obviously.
Okay, in stages.
Yes. So in actually talking to the government, you see, we have this culture also in the issues we have here. Now, the same that we be. In fact, I like that. Let it be, and it ends up becoming what we don't know because we allow it to be. So, in dealing with this situation, it was more like we saw it when Boko Haram, even before Boko Haram, we saw this crisis coming.
Yes.
We allow it.
And we
go back to the data on the street. Find out of-school children. Find out the Almajiri system. Find out the freedom of religious expression that allows just individuals to come from nowhere
and speak any way they want.
In fact, is he speaking alone? No. He has this volunteer students. Comes in the name of, no institution affected this individual. He's just somebody. How did Mohammed Yusuf became Mohammed Yusuf?
Of course, we're so nonchalant.
Exactly. So these are the things I was pointing in that letter. But I didn't speak in this manner. But I tried to let our southern colleagues realize that we are not actually afraid of those whatever weapons they are using against us. But the most devastating weapons is the one that are actually pierced through our soul deeply, right from time. When I was a child, till today, there are things that affects me that I can never change it. Not because of anything, because it has been instilled
Rooted
in me.
in you.
Yes. So, but our colleagues out there could easily say, let's go to the protest, and everybody is on the street for the protest. But in our case,
we can't.
when you say, let's go to the protest, it's like, let's go and attack this building. Let's go, there's food inside. Let's go and see how we can fetch it. And let me tell you what will shock you, Halima. You see, when these boys attack buildings during protests, whatever they cut away with, Halima, their parents welcome them home with it.
Unfortunately, we've seen
those that were able to move bags of grains, rice, palm oil, their parents welcome them like heroes.
Because of poverty.
And these are people from 7 years old upward.
What are
to
we
25.
teaching them?
These are the people that are raiding the buildings, in taking opportunity of the crowd during the protest. And their parents, you don't blame them when you go and see the parent. I followed some of the things I've seen. They told me, I said, come, take me to that community. I went to a home. The family came. I said, these are the seats from my office. The mother came and said, Bawang Allah, take it easy, bear with us. I was in tears.
Because of their condition.
Yes. I pulled out money
so
and added to, I said, keep the chairs and take this money and do more. The same child that went into that building and destroyed the building came to kneel before me.
Oh my God.
And was seeking for apology and thanking me for actually understanding their plight.
Oh my God, that's so sad. And quickly, is Northern Poverty now political infrastructure before we go to break?
I didn't get that, sorry.
Is Northern Poverty now political infrastructure?
Oh, perfectly. This is the frustration to people like us. Oh, yes. Okay, we said we're not going to join politics, but we ended up joining politics because we realized that there's a gap there.
And from the sidelines, you can't do anything.
You can't do anything. Because if you're sincere, that you actually want to make that change, you definitely need to diagnose it from inside and get to see the reality, not the hearsay.
I think we'll get to further details about that, because it's a lot to really maybe dissect for our viewers to understand better, because there is something when you go in, you expect something and it's totally different.
Exactly.
Let's take another break. When we return, the conversation continues. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
On the tables of Accra Communications.
Welcome back again. If you're just joining us, it's still S24 Spotlight on, and we've been speaking with Comrade Ijiwala, popularly known as an activist, an entrepreneur, a politician, and currently the new designation is the stalwart of the ADC. We've spoken a lot about our current situation as Northern Nigeria and the letter that Ijiwala wrote to our southern counterparts, and even, let's say, Nigeria as a whole. In your letter, you drew a painful comparison. You said that the elites see public office as a license to loot the treasury, while the dispossessed see a broken storefront as a mandatory license to take basic commodities. That's a very difficult argument to even acknowledge as a person. Why did you come to this conclusion?
Halima, survival instinct. When in an environment where resources are scarce, there's no issue of justice or fairness. Now, everybody uses whatever opportunity that presents itself before. Now, haven't you seen political appointees being celebrated as if they've actually gotten a ticket to heaven? Now, this is because, in fact, you also have seen someone who has been castigated for being right and actually lose or trust. or actually abuse the trust, that individual will never be celebrated. That individual will actually be, in fact, nobody welcomes you home. That person end up dying poor within his own family members or community. Now, having to also realize that most of the young men that find themselves doing some things, I wouldn't say, for example, a lot of young people have left classrooms to delve into technology, abusing technology in the name of Yahoo boys. And this time around,
in fact,
girls.
there is plus.
Thank
There's
you.
Yahoo plus.
Yes. Now, these individuals are being celebrated for what they display as they're rich.
The affluence.
Exactly. So if you now come back to the issue of leadership and the follow, especially it's truly haram. I was disagreeing when they said protest was haram. I totally disagree. But if you now look at it in a positive light, to stop people or to deny people the opportunity to go onto the street, to also attack buildings, destroy businesses.
Especially people who worked tirelessly to build something.
So it's wrong. It's haram to destroy someone's business. It's haram to cut short of other people's opportunity just because you are coming out to protest. Now, I said, okay, protest is haram if we are trying to say, don't go out, don't create opportunities for this innocent, yet victims of whatever.
Circumstances.
Yes. So let's not create an opportunity whereby they will go out, perpetrate all the things they've done, and when you look at them as criminals, but if you want to go back and review the system and look at it, what about this same person sitting in the office that actually took the entire budget of a Ministry of Education and went to build a private school somewhere where his elites will patronize him with his own words? Now, this is the truth picture, my sister. So what exactly are we into? Do we blame the child, the poor child, that actually moved into the storefront,
because of
break into and pack whatever it is? His sister is dying, probably because of hunger. She has actually developed some acute malnutrition. And at the same time, the mother is lying. And now this boy has opportunity to take this food. If he comes back to kneel down before this person, this same another person that is also a victim, I might actually be fair to any public office holder that is abusing his law, I might also be fair enough to say to him, he is also a victim of circumstance. Because we celebrate
this
them.
is so dicey because if you look at it like in a bigger picture, everyone is guilty.
Thank you.
Everyone is guilty.
Thank you.
But what can we do to change the narrative? Because you just made mention of something very key or germane, what I say, is that they are victims of circumstances, right?
Yeah.
But some people will say, you're making excuses for these people. What can we do right to change the narrative?
Beautiful. I have a solution for all the things that, for example, protest. You see, if coming together between the good, the bad, and the ugly is to the street, to the society, the best thing we can do is decentralize trouble. Don't bring people of the same group anymore. Decentralize them and make the people, you and I should actually create a forum, right? And within the same community where we have the vulnerable citizens, we still have few individuals that could serve as leaders.
Yeah.
Now, let them form their own cycles. Now, you must first create an opportunity for these people to bring them, the vulnerable ones, bring them in there so that let them have a bit of attention to what you are going to see.
Exposure, most
Exactly.
importantly.
So the question is, who is going to do this? The person that is going to do this, the you and I that sat in a classroom from primary, secondary to university, come back to your immediate community, society. Begin to organize, begin to deploy, to give back your knowledge, your senses, your refined
intellect.
Exactly. Give it back so that let this neighborhood of yours.
And participate or enjoy the dividend of your education.
So the problem of why we have that society that is difficult to manage is because you and I refuse to actually go back and give it back to them. We feel we are well refined, more refined, better than them.
Okay, so I think in some situations, you'll find out that it's not just that people don't want to go there in isolation. For instance, I remember when COVID outbreak started, and I recruited some of my colleagues and said, let's go and do this. When we got there, we were almost late. I said, so very common. I tried to see what way can we do this in a way that our people, because once you go back as a refined person to our society, people believe someone is maybe bankrolling you somewhere. In what ways can we take ourselves back to give back without going as somebody they feel somebody is bankrolling us somewhere, and we can truly give back from our ends, not from friends or something?
Thank you. Thank you. I think we definitely have a responsibility here as citizens to first and foremost agree that, look, there's something very important. It's not when it matters. No. On a normal day, begin to create this, let's say, this civic platform. It mustn't be registered.
Okay.
It can just be on a freelance. Walk in there, bring people within your neighborhood, and also find the next street who is somebody of your like minds to say, okay, come together, let's do something. And trust me, the people in my street will listen to me because I live there, I mingle with them, we pray together, we go to mosques. Now, the point is where we have problem is we don't see them when it matters or until when it matters too. That is the point.
When there's life occurrences.
Exactly. So, and another thing, let me also quickly say this. I don't know how time would permit this.
Yeah.
You see, part of the solutions that there is something in the nuts, which is very, very important. I'm going to use an analogy. Somebody rushed to the theater room, the medical theater room for an operation. The most important thing that can be done to that person is to actually put that person on anesthesia.
Yes.
For him not to feel the pain.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is what religion has turned. They've turned religion into an anesthesia. Yes. In fact, the easiest way to radicalize individuals is to use those chapters and verses
of the Quran,
either the Quran or the Bible, to actually make sure the person goes to the point that he will not feel the pain even if you touch the person. Even if you pinch the person will not feel the pain because he has been administered with this anesthesia to believe that whatever happens to him is not a pain because the pain in hereafter is much more difficult. So this person has assumed the position of a hero for himself. So that person is working as a machine. That person is talking to you and operating with the anger because he believes that what he's doing is much more. In fact, let me say he's secured. He has every protection. He has what's the word? I'm seeking for that word that makes some people feel like so immune against anything that can harm them because he feels his feet. Now, we need to really correct this. Yes.
It is deep-rooted, so we've got a long way to change the narrative. You wrote that the poor sometimes mirror the predatory patterns of leaders. Is that too...
Of course, it's a reflect. Let me tell you, if a political appointee is in the office, now give him an appointment today, give him 3 months, his lifestyle has changed. Why? Because he has everything around him.
Yeah.
He has people coming to worship him. Now, that is what these individuals, the less privileged, that feel, okay, if this guy goes this way doing his own thing, now every opportunity that comes my way, I'm going to reflect on what he does. Subconsciously. It's not like you sit down to plan to agree.
It's subconscious.
It just happened because we are competing against each other. Now, if those at the high level actually competing to show us that, look, they've made it. Now the same thing in the other part of the divide. These individuals are also saying, look, we can use whatever we can to actually get ourselves what we want. So the mentality is all about go and grab. They went in there as political appointees, as leaders, to grab. The same thing these other people also, they do nothing but to grab.
Unfortunately.
That is it. So that's the reflection, that's the mirror.
So what strategy do you think a northern youth would engage in with civics discipline before protest so that we don't always go back to the chaos that we've seen in the past?
Let the media create this consciousness in us. Let the media not be perturbed. Continue to work hard. Recognize individuals from local communities that are actually helping. There are a lot of individuals doing more than what we're doing. Excuse me.
Yes.
Now, these individuals, I guarantee you, if we can have them, I promise you, they will be encouraged to do more. So by the time you actually bring in this, make them the heroes of the communities, I bet you they will begin to create platforms where this particular citizens that we are looking down on would actually stand and say, wow. So there won't be, even if another pandemic happens to come, if you go in there, they will not feel these are strangers, these are aliens coming to us. So, because we ignore them, they feel ignored.
So we need to pay attention to them.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We'll take the final break. When we return, the conversation ends, but it doesn't just end in the studio. It continues because I've learned a lot from my big brother, Comrade Ijiwala, to see that we go back to our society and give back in our own little way. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. And the last part of the Spotlight on edition for today with Comrade IG Wala. We've spoken a lot, and I believe this conversation will continue from this point. We'll still call my big brother in many more times to talk on different topics as they affect our nationhood. And let's quickly take a few more questions on the North-South, two different struggles. You addressed your letter to comrades from the South. Why?
Yeah, in fact, I had calls. Wala, where are you? We're on the streets. Have you graduated from the streets? Because you become a politician. I said, no. Unfortunately, I wasn't in town. I just came back yesterday. So I said, no. I saw comments whereby I say, people like IG Wala are no more seen on the streets because probably they've gone. I said, no, come on, that's not the point. And finally, I could see those on leading the protest. These are people who I've known personally one-on-one, people who have done one or two things. So I would have been there with them. It's not just me, but most of the northern, this is exactly what happened during the NSAS. Yeah. I remember, even when we tried our best to actually join that from the north. It actually did not work. For obvious reasons.
Because NSAS is to the spectrum. What they expect to affect in the south is what the same.
Exactly. So on this one, okay, it's obvious that it's they know it's not anything. And because almost all of us agree, look, protest is a distraction in the north. We can't help it. I've seen some, in fact, in the past, we made effort to explain to people this is the true situation in the north. It's end up in a chaos. We don't agree. They said, look, you guys are making up excuses and all that. But and I said, no, I felt the pain of what happened to the businesses on the street. And even another thing that matters, very important, is if you allow protest in the north to turn into chaos, now the victims are mostly those from the south. The businesses. The Igbo businesses, the Yorubas, printing press and all that. The media houses belong, you know, so people traveling in between the cuts, in between the crisis and all.
And some lose their lives.
Exactly. A lot. So, and I said, no, let me write, let them see this. So let me make an appeal to them to feel, to understand. It's not as if we're not ready to join. We don't want the crisis to escalate. You go on protest trying to address an issue. Instead, you end up creating another big problem. In fact, bigger. Because by the time an attack in Sabongari, were mostly the Igbos. in Kano, for example, happens, you're going to hear people say, they're attacking the Southerners. So I try to...
And then it can just blow up into something.
So I now said, let me appeal to those Southerners. Let them... If I refuse to come out with protests, rather, in the street of Kano, it's the protest of the Southerners that we are... I bet you, to the businesses. And these businesses are owned by foreigners. Multinationals are not owned by local people, are owned by foreigners. When I say foreigners, I don't necessarily refer to somebody from outside the country. Yes, multinationals are for foreigners, quite okay. But who are the beneficiaries who are making a living out of the job in those companies? They are locals. And also, it probably is people from the south. So this is the true situation.
Some would say we're still making mistakes. So
yeah, I understand. That is being projected as an excuse. But because we definitely need to know how to engage. Times are changing. There were no social media. Now there are social media. Instead of practical street protests, we can turn that into an online protest.
Yeah.
We could create a boycott whereby some services, anything government, if you say people stay at home, let nobody comes out and nobody goes to work. Let's see what the government is going to. The international, perception is, it will now be that this government is failing, and that's an impact. So we can't go about creating solutions, and we end up creating a bigger problem. And we feel we're comfortable with that.
So you've mentioned key things. The Southerners misunderstood modern silence because they feel we just want to be quiet. While we don't solve the temperature of the right. You know, several
this is because the federation actually give back to
6 regions.
Exactly, the regions and also the states, down to the local government. Now, the same fight that is happening across, if you go to one state, you see the whole local government and the people, tribes and all this are also fighting a similar fight. So, but what, in essence, it is, we like it or not, we are segmented, we are regionalized, and not for bad, but for good. It's only that the challenges are overwhelming. Now, this is historical because the system of governance we are running is actually, instead of creating more opportunities, but we see more of impediments in terms of growth. Now, I say to myself, come, let me struggle from inside. That is what I don't know the north-south divide. Yes, but the reality is from our culture, simple means of communication. I talk to you with a form of respect. I don't see a woman. I see a mother in you.
Yes.
So I cannot talk down to you when I'm talking to you. Yes. This is a culture.
In northern Nigeria.
It's irrespective of religion. Now, that is one. Secondly, I also think of the opportunities here. We provide raw materials in this part of the town, the country. Now, you have the processing plants, right? You have the patience to take it and turn it into products. But we have the market. Then you bring it back to us, and we consume, we pay you. So that symbiotic relationship, it's compulsory. God designed it in this way.
Not just in Nigeria.
Nature has actually positioned us in this way. Now, the same thing, there are things we can't do. All the building materials don't come from
Nigeria.
The north. It comes from the south. Forget that we have the sun, we have the cement, we have the water. But there are ions, woods, and all these things. So it's a compulsory that we must live together. So the issue of fighting the the smaller struggles. Yes, the regions are also, we are also fighting within our own regions. But when we come together, how do we now bring this effort together and begin to bridge the gap that is actually creating more space that we are envying each other in trying to, we're even like being hostile to each other whenever we come together.
And trying to compete.
Look at what happens in National Assembly. Most at times you see, they feel like, no, and in reality, the two divide, those representing us, are they really speaking for the people or for themselves? So
Quite unfortunate. Due to time, we need to take a few more questions, maybe one more question. Now, when citizens stop speaking, is it peace or mostly is exhaustion?
It's both sides.
Okay,
Is
of
the truth?
coin.
Yes, because you see, politicians, especially the arrogant ones, like somebody said, I think it was the president that said he's an arrogant politician. He's a stubborn, sorry.
Stubborn, yeah.
Arrogant and stubborn, okay. He's a stubborn politician. You see, such stubborn politicians prefer a situation whereby people remain silent, right? Now, in a situation whereby people refuse to remain silent, it's a context. Now, from the contracts that you have signed with them before they vote you in, then you are in a position that you must deliver. Now, if you don't deliver, people are going to talk.
They're going
so
to talk.
Northerners, our silence sometimes might be mistaken. In the case of insecurity and refusing to come out to protest, is a silence that actually means we are not with you. But we are waiting for an opportunity where we're going to reveal that we're not with you.
To vent the anger. And lastly,
Yes.
the ADC movement. You recently moved toward ADC and introduced the movement as part of a new political direction.
Yeah, handshake movement.
Why ADC?
Yes, thank you. In the past, many of our comrades attempted to delve into politics, but there are rules, there are laws from the party's, let's say, constitutions, whereby they do not allow newcomers to be given some privileges, right? Now,
The Not Too Young to Run bill is just, or a law, it's just
yeah,
maybe
no,
on
the
paper.
law is there.
Yeah.
But when you go into the political parties, you discover that there are a lot of things need to be changed to reflect the when the okay, this is an opportunity for us to come in, and it worked. So a lot of young people are there. A lot of politicians are also that are aggrieved are there. So we are naive when it comes to politics. We feel okay. This could form a good synergy. Learn. We are coming with our own energy. Exactly. We have this energy that they don't have, and they have the experience that we don't have. So why can't we come to a common ground and see how we can actually tap from? And most important thing is everybody is you have free choice to make. You want to contest, you want to contest.
Thank you so much.
very
I'm afraid due to time we need
I
to go.
understand.
Just a quick rapid fire before we call it a wrap. Just in a sentence, what must Northern Nigeria do for itself without waiting for Abuja? Just in a sentence.
Let the malams, if I say malams, I'm not necessarily the clerics, every influential figure in the north, please save us from these killings. Save us from the poverty. Please save us from what is happening to us by doing the right thing. Turn from the personal gain into the public gain.
Thank you. And on rapid fire, short answers only. Nigeria in one word.
Nigeria.
In one word.
Can trying times be a one word? A compound word, rather.
It's a compound word, just one word.
Okay, we're in crossroad.
Crossroad. Northern Nigeria in one word.
A thriving, I mean thriving society.
Thriving. Thank you. Poverty in one word.
Weapon.
Illiteracy, accident or design.
Both.
You need to choose one.
Okay.
Accident or design.
Design.
Okay. Northern silence, fear, exhaustion or strategy.
Let me be positive. Strategy.
Strategy. Southern protest culture, courage or privilege.
It's privilege.
Okay, and ADC, alternative or experiment?
Experiment.
Okay, youth anger, dangerous or necessary?
Can I choose it too?
No, you need to choose one.
Dangerous or necessary?
Yeah.
It's necessary.
Okay, prison, punishment or lesson?
Lesson.
And 2027, do you think it's an illusion?
Or what?
Yes or no?
Okay. No.
No. Why? Just in one word.
Still building.
Building is the word. What is Nigeria must rebuild?
Wow. Political.
Okay, and complete this. Nigeria will change when?
We all agree it
When
must
we
change.
all agree. And complete this. The North will rise when?
When education is everywhere.
When education is everywhere. That's really key. Complete this. Power must do what?
Must have the people.
Thank you so much. It's been an amazing conversation with you. And I would like to say come every day because this has been amazing. You've
Thank you.
written with anger, pain, and warning. But if hungry young Nigerian is watching you tonight, someone angry enough to break but too tired to organize, what do you say to that person in one sentence?
Please, nobody hates you. So don't hate yourself and don't see people hating you. Listen to me because I want to help you. Meaning, listen to everybody that say, come, accept and listen. Trust me, you'll be over this situation you're in.
Thank you so much, Comrade IG Wala. Today's conversation reminds us that democracy is not only tested at polling units, it is tested in the way people feel. Fear, silence, protest, and whether citizens still believe their country can be repaired or not. IG Wala's argument is uncomfortable. He says poverty can weaken resistance, illiteracy can distort civic action, and when there is no food on the table, it can turn protest away from policy and towards survival. And the poor are often blamed for the chaos created by those who govern them badly. But the deeper question is for Nigeria itself. Can a nation build democracy when citizens are too hungry to organize, too insecure to believe, and too disappointed to trust? Can Northern Nigeria build civic resistance that is disciplined, protected, peaceful, and impossible to dismiss? And can Southern and Northern citizens understand that their struggles may look different, but the demand is the same: dignity, justice, security, accountability, and a country that works? That is the conversation for today. This has been Spotlight On. I am Halima Abdurrauf. Thank you for watching. Stay with S24 Television and bye.
Abuja, 16th of June 2026. In an era of emerging realities, this is not dialogue for optics. It is a strategic multi-stakeholder, high-level, outcome-driven platform for frank engagement, bold ideas, and tangible development. Government, policy drivers, business, civil society, and thought leaders, together redefining the next Northern Nigeria, aligning with the media ecosystem as economic catalyst and narrative control platform. The Second Liberty Symposium theme: Reimagining the North, Media, Productive Power, and the Making of the Next Northern Nigeria. Tangible development demand narrative precision, economic expansion demand coordinated messaging. Media is no longer support structure, it is core infrastructure, it is investment signal, it is perception capital. The next Nigeria will not emerge by chance to be designed. Be in the room where the North defines itself. Second Liberty Symposium, the Imagined North, claim the narrative, rise to present the future. Convener, Liberty Media Group, on the stables of Atara Communications Limited.
My name is Dr. Halima Bello. I'm a consultant obstetrician gynecologist here in Gorimpa General Hospital, FCT Abuja, and I'm a fistula surgeon. Vesicovaginal fistula, actually obstetrics, as the name goes, has to do with pregnancy and the journey of pregnancy. Most of the times it's due to prolonged labor. We call it prolonged obstructed labor, a labor that has gone on and on without a final delivery, you understand, and there's no intervention to get that baby out until probably baby dies. For most of them, the histories is that they have had labor for 2 days, 3 days, yeah. Some of them 5 days, surprisingly, yes, as long as that. So they have labor for so long, they don't get delivered until probably the baby die in their wombs, and then after that, they develop the fistula. Some actually develop it, after the long stay of the labor. They go to hospitals, and probably before they are attended to, or after they're being attended to, in the process, they get the fistula. Yes, and then there are some that post-surgical complications such a situation can occur. Like we have all this series of patients at the moment that have had it from different causes, but the commonest cause is prolonged obstructed labor. The issue of vesicovaginal fistula sincerely is just prevention. If we can get that prevented, let it not even happen, then sincerely we are home and dry. But the problem is that it is not being prevented. How? Sometimes women don't go for antenatal. Even when they go for antenatal clinics, they don't end up delivering in the hospital. So you see a large number at antenatal, a few number come to the hospital for delivery. Secondly, even if they're going to come to the hospital, they come to the hospital late. Sometimes the labor has gone, the destruction has started, for whatever reason, probably sometimes finance. Most of them give us reasons that it's because of finances. They don't get money. They feel, people get afraid of coming to the hospital even before they are billed. They feel when they come to the hospital, they'll be billed. So, but they don't even come to know what it entails to get themselves out of that situation until when it has happened. So there's that fear of coming to the hospital. And then again, some of them feel that when they come to the hospital, they have to queue up, wait for so long, waiting time is so long that they can't, So people have many reasons anyway why they don't come to the hospital. But also the socioeconomic status too. Let's be realistic, poverty plays a very, very high role. Sometimes they don't even have the transportation to come to the hospital. Sometimes their roads are not accessible. Before a person gets himself or herself out of where she's living to the hospital, main hospital, it might take her hours. Once you are known to have fistula, you are so stigmatized that not just depression, psychosis, frank psychosis has happened to years in some women, whereby they get depressed because they can't do anything with their lives. You are not sick, as people will say. You're not sick. Yes, you're not sick, but you're really sick inside because you can't just do anything like every other person does. You don't have a freedom to associate with people. You don't have, in fact, sometimes you don't even have the freedom to even sell in the market. That is how bad it is. People don't want to buy from you. So if people don't buy from you, how do you survive? Then when you go to places, you're being stigmatized. People don't want to stay around you. They feel you're smelling, So their lives, in fact, the quality of their lives is really bad. So some of them get into depression. Some of them, unfortunately, go into prostitution, destitutes, homeless. So some of them are being treated as so-called outcasts, witches, so many things. And then it even prevents you, even if you're a working class lady, you have such a problem. It's even worse. You can't go to work. Now, every time you go to work, you're feeling so insecure that probably as I'm sitting, I'm wet or I'm smelling or this, and you don't have a quality of life until you're. So it's really something that's a lot. Than to create a new thing. But there's joy in it because once you do it and it works out fine, which most of the time we're lucky that it works out fine, you're happy. The patients are happy and you're happy. And you will see you will see yourself that you have transformed a woman's life from what was previously a nothing or is destitute to somebody who is happy and living. We have a lot of ambassadors out there that are ready to come today and tell you about their ordeal and what they are today. So by doing these surgeries, we help to restore at least their dignities. Because once you stop leaking, your dignity is restored in any way. Yes. So, and then we do have some NGO forms of bodies that help in rehabilitating and reintegrating them back into the society, because you don't just finish repairing and the situation is still there. If you repair her and she still cannot go back to her community, or she still cannot food to herself, then there's still a problem. But when you repair her and that issue is settled, the next thing is that, okay, you have helped her in gaining her confidence. The next thing is that, what will she do? Yes, she needs to be rehabilitated, she needs to be reintegrated into society, and it becomes history. There might be some fields that there are new equipments in town, there are new personnel in town. Yeah, I know that. But for fistula, I'm not sure that we have gotten there yet. We sincerely need to do a lot more. Because if we see a patient with fistula, it tells us about our maternal mortality. So if our maternal mortality is actually improving, we have a good maternal mortality rate is improving, then I would say maybe fistula too. But what I don't understand now is that I still see new cases of fistula. And it baffles me that why are we having new cases? So something is wrong, somewhere fundamentally wrong. If we are still having new cases of new, I'm talking about new. In the past, we used to struggle with the issue of backlog because there were no specialists to repair them and clear them. Now we have a lot of backlogs that have been taken care of or are still being taken care of. But we are having new cases. Where are we having new cases? Younger ones, older ones, more tips, para and nulliparas. We're having so many cases of fistula. Why? So that will give the answer to whether there's an improvement. Yes, that will give an answer, because I see that even our younger doctors are even leaving the country. We that were in the fistula now, we are getting older, getting tired. The young ones that I can't out 5 young doctors that are interested in fistula. Yes, I can put them out to you. They are not in it, because one is they feel is a difficult field. You come, you walk, and these things are not finishing. They're just coming, and it's just damage and damage keep coming, and then they leave. Who does it after? Who takes over afterwards? And anybody can fall a victim to this. So what happens if it happens? So I think it's something that we should take seriously in this country, so that we can do this thing. And what we need the most is prevention, because if this thing is not prevented from there and it comes here as we continue to do this thing. And this prevention is not about the health workers alone. The health workers should be involved. The government should be involved. The parents should be involved. The children should be involved. The pregnant women should be involved. The husbands should be involved. Everybody should be involved. I was surprised when I came into the system, came to the field, and I saw that there are really many of them living with it, many years. So I see that this fistula is there, and we should not neglect that aspect. We should take it very seriously, because every woman that is affected with this fistula, a whole family is affected. The whole family is affected, and every woman that is happy in a family, you see that the whole family is happy. So I just want the world to know that with good prevention, this will be history. It is history in other countries now. We see less of fistula, especially fistula, in many other countries. Why are we still having it here in Africa?
On the rolling hillside of Ngong, towering wind turbine spinning against the Kenyan sky, producing clean energy and helping power the country's future. But beyond the electricity they generate, these turbines also tell another story. One of women engineers breaking barriers and proving their places in industries traditionally dominated by men. Among them is engineer Jennifer Kashe, whose career has been closely tied to Kenya's renewable energy journey. Standing beneath the turbines, she reflects on the significance of seeing vision become reality. For Jennifer, the project represents years of advocacy and learning. At the time when renewable energy was still viewed with caution, she sought specialized training in Sweden, where she studied wind power technology and modeling. Today, as turbines rotate across the landscape, Jennifer says the greatest reward is seeing an idea take shape and benefit communities.
Standing on this point and seeing these wind turbines turning and generating clean energy for the country, I feel very happy and very gratified. And I feel that this is an example that all the countries need to emulate.
Jennifer is helping by Kenya's renewable energy ambitions, and a woman engineer is transforming waste into opportunity. The Boston River is Nantali Martin is the friendly paving blocks making like hospitals. Just and economic solution. Process does not come without challenges. Zambia said women often face scrutiny beyond the demand for itself.
Sector. So you find especially when it comes to the physical lifting, like a lot of people. From an area perspective, it's expensive actually for women.
Demanding what Zambia has built a living enterprise while challenging assumption about who belongs on the faculty. Despite those realities, we continue to innovate, proven engineering, play a role to solve environmental challenges.
I was able to tell this story to the organization to me. So I went to Sweden in Malmo to learn about wind power technology. And when we were there, we were also taught how to do wind power modeling. And now when I came up with that knowledge, I was now empowered to even be able to convince the organization of the fact that we must balance our energy by using some renewable and non-renewable methods. And when you come and you see a project that we initiated has taken ground and it is working and it is an example and it is being looked upon by the citizens and by other people, you get so much joy from a career. So I can say that as an engineer, I've had a very, very fulfilling work as a profession.
Ngong mentorship is helping open doors for the next generation of engineers. Among those benefiting is civil engineering graduate Linda Chuma, who says guidance from experienced professionals has been invaluable.
We, as at the Institution of Engineers of Kenya, we are big on mentorship, and personally, under the mentorship of Engineer Jennifer Gachi, I have learned quite a lot. I work with her in the Women Engineers Committee at the Institution of Engineers of Kenya. One thing I have learned from her, truthfully and honestly, is that young people need to be given an opportunity to go into rooms where digital that fully prepares you for how difficult it's going to be there in the passion that you have. And I guess you believe in yourself that you don't have to temper, so you learn that the mathematics all in. I think that makes it fun.
Linda believes young engineers need opportunity to participate in decision-making spaces and gain real-world experiences. Jennifer's commitment to mentoring and community engagement has earned recognition across the
I won a award from the Federation of African Engineer Organization as a award with excellence in practice. And I think that award is based on some of these things that I've done because one of this currently vision of mine of the local solutions.
From renewable energy and Kenya's sites to innovative recycling factories in Nairobi, women engineers shaping industry and inspiring future generations. Their work is helping power homes, reduce waste, create jobs, and expand opportunity for others. And as Kenya continues to grow, these women are proving that innovation is strongest when everyone has a chance to lead.
Nigeria's commercial capital, Lagos, a city many describe as chaotic, is where Amanda Etuk sees opportunity.
The city encourages you, like you can't even relax. The person next to you has come up with something else. People that you see people online, oh, I've been in Lagos for 1 year and I've just bought my, I'm like, oh my God, I've been here all my life. So there's always something to supply chain, the pharmacy degree from the University of Lagos. She was simply interested in solving problems, and the problems in Nigeria's logistics market, valued at over $72 billion as of 2023, were hard to ignore. We focus on mid-stage entrepreneurs. That's basically like the messy middle. They've gone past the ideation stage. They've been in business for at least 2 years. They've started to see some traction in their business. So they already have that drive and that grit. It's more like, how do we now scale this business? Her journey took a sharper turn with the role of Hygia HMO, which opened her eyes to recruiting failures in last mile delivery. But by 2024, a new challenge called. Amanda joined Cascado, a prestigious accelerator supporting Africa's mid-stage high-growth companies. She became program director, overseeing the organization's $2 million catalytic fund.
Going into a mentorship program was actually what changed it all for us, how we need to see things different, the kind of approach we need to engage in, and how we need to also scale and sustain over a period of time. So yes, I think it's encouraged that all founders are going, should definitely go into one form of mentor, have more mentor or the other that I discuss things with.
Cascador's impact is significant. Its alumni have raised more than $55 million, achieving an average of threefold year-over-year revenue growth since 2019.
Last 2024, the Africa Venture Capital Association reported $3.6 billion, that's billion with a B, in total deal size, right? So deal volume. And this was, of course, across 450 deals on the continent. So that is a significant number, anyhow you choose to look at it.
For Etuk, though, the reward is not just the numbers, it's the ripple effect of growth.
I think my purpose really is to help birth things. That's really my purpose, and doing this gives me joy. Talking to entrepreneurs and being able to contribute one aspect to their growth, it makes me happy. It keeps me up at night and it keeps me going every morning. You know, you might have a very difficult day and then you get a great message from an entrepreneur and say, oh, I was able to negotiate this opportunity based on our conversation.
From transforming last mile logistics to shaping the next generation of African scale-ups, Amanda Etuk is using problem solving to rewrite what's possible for entrepreneurs on the continent.
Hello, welcome to Spotlight On, right here on S24 television, where we sit with minds and makers shaping the future of our society. Today, our spotlight falls on a man whose journey bends across science, education, and public service. Trained in physics at the University of Abuja, went on to advanced study in mathematical physics at the People's Friendship University of Russia, and has publicly documented research in condensed matter and graphene-related work. Yet, his story did not remain in the laboratory. It moved into classrooms, communities, and government, from education delivery under BESDA to science, technology, and innovation leadership in Gombe State. This is a conversation about more than one man's resume. It is about whether science can speak the language of governance, whether innovation can leave policy papers and touch ordinary lives, and whether a technocrat can survive the turbulence of public office without losing the discipline of evidence. Professor Abdullahi Boppa Ahmed, thank you for joining us on Spotlight On. Today, we're going to probe from the beginning, where it all started, because mostly the foundation is very key in every situation. If we take a look at
From Shamaki to science. You were born in Gombe and built your academic foundation in physics before moving into advanced work in mathematical physics. When you look back now from where you started, what first pulled you towards science? Wonder, discipline, ambition, or the need to solve real life problems?
Curiosity. I grew up being like someone who liked to solve problems, and if you're in science, you solve a lot of problems. So, and that's what pushed towards sciences.
Oh, so it's curiosity. That's the simple answer. So, rush, rigor, and worldview, because you started from somewhere and you went all the way out. You studied in Russia. In a later interview, you linked that experience to your belief in automation and smarter public systems. What did Russia teach you, not just academically, but mentally, about order, scale, and what functioning institutions look like for our current climate?
Well, I think Russia has changed my, perception and understanding the world. And I believe it has done that to a lot of people that went to Russia to study. A complete change of have a complete, philosophy when you go to Russia, because people that believe they also believe in, yes, they can do it alone. And that is what Russia has taught me. Move like just a one-man army, because it's to move with a lot of things, but one person is solving them. You have a lot of problems and one person also. For example, if you see how the Russians are, managing the sanctions at the same time, but when you go to Russia, you hardly feel the sanction. When you see Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin, alone trying to push the world to its knees, someone who the world think they can finish him within 48 hours, but still they remain the superpower they used to be, even then during the Soviet Union. So I think going to Russia has entirely changed my perception about the world. I used to think you need a team to succeed, but I believe you can do it alone.
Oh, do it alone. In our reality as Nigerians, and if we go back to Gombe State, do you think that's really possible? Because one man, especially if it is in government, might not be able to do a lot of things.
Yeah, it's doable. You see, when you go to Gombe, for example, let me speak the language people understand in Gombe, Kogizo. The governor of Gombe State is a man that, people see him a kind of a controversial man, a kind of someone who is very tough. And he goes his own way when he wants to do things. And that is why he has achieved a lot of things within 7 years. You think he has done like 10, 14 years in government, because he believed in moving the path alone. I mean, alone is you have your ideas and you move for it. And when you have, where you want to go, some ideas or confusions or distractions, don't change your path. And that is what I'm saying. You can move alone once you are determined.
We'd like to know who is to you, because it seems there is a good or cordial relationship. Who is this person to you? If you start from your relationship to the sharing period, and also to when you were in different places?
Well, to me, is more than a godfather. He's a role model. He's someone who, from where I were before and to where I am today. Someone I see him as a game changer in my life. And Muhammad himself, Muhammad is someone that studied like I know when he's happy, I know when he's angry, I know when he wants to be, I know his body language, I know his emotional intelligence. And this is someone I can tell you that I can interpret his smile. I can interpret, how he looks at you. Are you welcome or not? So he's someone who always wants to see the best out of you.
That's a long thing to talk about.
Yes.
How long did it take you to understand the governor like this? Because it seems like you've read a whole book and you can decode everything in it.
I did a kind of a study, I took my, primary and secondary data from his friends. and also from my own interaction with him, personal interactions. And because first time he gave me a comment, and a friend told me that, okay, you're going to deal with of a complex person. He is not wicked, but complex. I said, I understand. He said, you hardly understand what wants to come out from his mouth, but you see it from his own body language, reactions. So, and again, I decoded something prior to the elections. Sometimes you see him, when you come closer to him, he will be smiling. Sometimes you see him, looking at you. So I said, okay, this man, I think I need to see him very well. So that was, I had a lot of interaction with his friends, with his family members, and also my own interaction with him. And that was what makes me, I can predict what he will do next. And, and inshallah, he will do it because I have studied him. And is a person that doesn't want you to put more pressure on him to always be close to him. He likes you to give him space. Distance. He likes this distance, relationship. So by doing that, that was why you see our relationship with him is very, very cordial. You go to him whenever he needs you. Whenever he doesn't want you to be with him, just give him that space. So this is the kind of a person Muhammadu Inuahaya is, and he's a perfectionist, as I told you. When he starts something, he wants to see it 100% done. Completed. And he doesn't want to give you job and you'll be sleeping today, you'll be lazy. No, he like hard work. That's why if you work with him, we always say that hard work is more. So if you do a very good work, job for you. And that's why from Bizza, he promoted me to was not even the chairman of SUDEP, just a project. But because he gives it, we did. That's why so this is the kind of man that I do. He's more he's a mentor, and I can tell you that everything that I am today.
Okay, so besides a government, a lot of people can teach theory. Far fewer can move from equations and models into public administration. What was the inner shift for you when you left the lecture room and entered governance? What did you have to unlearn?
Well, I've never left the lecturing room. I've always been there, and for someone who has diverse ideas, so to say, I believe that a lot of things I see whenever I see something, the fact that I know how to code and I know how to automate a lot of things. Whenever I see things, I see them for example, my own way of doing things. And let me give you an example. When we came in 2019, prior to the election, we believe the governor contested in 2011, he contested in 2015, and all the elections were not successful. So in 2019, we came up with an idea of having an election situation room. And so if we want to do that election situation room, what do we need to do? We need to do something entirely different that has, never been implemented or applied in our election in Gombe State. And that was why then we applied a normal, Excel to collate our results even before INEC, announcing their results. So we did that alone. So we thought differently. We brought our ideas from the university that we think we need to collate our result electronically, even before INEC, collating their own. So we did it across all the 11 local governments, all of the polling units. We developed a simple Excel that gives us information from the polling unit to the wards collation centers, and to the state, central situation room. And that has been a game changer in the politics of Gombe State.
That's really interesting, because for a one man, I believe that a lot of people would think that's impossible. So why education first? You were appointed coordinator of BESDA in Gombe, a program aimed at tackling out of school learning gaps. Why did education become such a defining part of your public service identity?
Coming from the northeastern part of Nigeria, you know that we have this gap when it comes to education. And even though we have the, Zangaya education, but it's not, recognized. But the fact that Western education came all over and took everything. When you go to northern Nigeria, a lot of people study only secondary school level, and that's all.
it.
And it was later on that a lot of people start going to universities, having diplomas. So when you go to northern Nigeria, and according to the needs assessment of 2014, it shows that Gombe State is part of the states that are having a lot of out-of-school children. And the need to enroll them back to school was a kind of agitation that has been there for decades, but there was no access until when the governor came on board. And one of the mandates of His Excellency Alhaji Muhammadu Inuaha is to return, over 450,000 out-of-school children back to school. According to the baseline data we have that over 450,000 out-of-school children. So we came up with an idea on how to reduce this number of out-of-school children and give equitable access, for children that have been, so to say, marginalized, and also to improve the literacy level. Even those that are in the school need to have improvement in their literacy, because you find people in primary 5 but cannot read or write, cannot blend letters. So that was the idea. And for me, who has been in the system, who have a lot of programs that has to do with out-of-school children, when we had this idea with His Excellency, I found that this is an opportunity to also give my own contribution. So, and that was how we started, by identifying the areas that has the highest number of out-of-school children and the schools that have proximity with these people. So we started with sensitization and advocacy, and the parents, accepted it, and we started enrolling them back to school gradually, and came up with another easy, pedagogy that they will easily understand and have. For example, we came up with the idea of Mukoma Makaranta.
That's also, we go back to school.
Yes. So, and that was, I believe also it was a game changer. And there was this pedagogy of NEI. They came with, it's a kind of an accelerated learning approach. Then when you go to school, it's very easy. Children learn with musics, with this. And so for them is to start learning blending words, blending how to read, how to write, because as I said earlier, you find someone in primary 6, but he cannot read, he cannot write. The approach was the problem. So that new approach we came with is what people used to call Yaran Bezda. Because everywhere you go, they will be singing Kena na er makaranta, na er malamai. So they will say, okay, what is that nana? How do you blend the nana? Na plus na gives you na. So er makaranta, just so with that
school child, or
children. So because of that
song, a lot of them started reading, writing, and it was a game changer in the history of education in Gombe State.
That's really lovely. Now let's go from classroom to code. In your public remarks, you framed your focus on education plus ICT modernization, the push toward e-governance and automation. For many Nigerians, that sounds good on paper. What does it actually look like in practice in a state like Gombe?
Yeah, you see, now a lot of governance is not easy, and you find our governors are always traveling here and there, meetings and so on. So, and for you to even sit down with your team, for you to even have files moving, for you to, have a kind of a meeting every day with the team is going to be difficult. So, and again, in the public service, sometimes files will say, where's this file? The file is missing. Oh, where's this file? No, for long we've seen it in this place. It's even difficult for you to track a movement of file. So now once you automate all these processes, it's very easy for you to even have a file that has been there for like 20 years. You can just, within a click, just put the file number, all the information to come. For example, a commissioner would like to send a memo to His Excellency. It's just for him to type his memo and forward it, to the governor, and the governor sees this. If he likes, he recommends for the discussion, or he approves, or he reroutes the letter. You don't necessarily need to see the governor, and your file has been moving, and you can track the file. Is it in the governor's office? Is it in the finance? So these are things that automation has brought into governance, and this is something that we believe if all government activities will be automated,
a lot of gaps will be bridged. And that was what I told you earlier, that this are a lot of ideas that we've seen abroad and which are doable here locally. And with that automation we've started, a lot of things have, changed. A lot of people used to have difficulties seeing the governor. And even the governor sometimes will be in another place and he wants to have a meeting. It's going to be difficult for him
put
to.
people together.
Yes, so once you just, within a click, a memo or a message will be sent that so minutes or hours you're going to have meeting with His Excellency, so you'll be ready. And sometimes you see a government official want to send a message and they say His Excellency has not been on seat for 2 weeks. So it's very easy for him to just send a message and the governor sees it and he replies very easily. And you can't say the file is missing, because you can track your file, you can see where the file is.
Now, let's quickly brush through building digital infrastructure in a low-resource environment. Your ministry publicly pursued ties with NITDA and Galaxy Backbone, and later Gombe sought partnership with Naseni to support prototypes and commercialization. What were you trying to build beneath the titles, skills, infrastructure, credibility, investment, or all of the above?
Yeah, all of the above, all of the above. You see, when you go to northern Nigeria, you find that the infrastructure deficit is just visible in Gombe State. The IT, for example, there are places that up to now they are not connected. The fibers are not there. So, and that was what Galaxy is trying to do. And also, you look at some areas that you have, the literacy level in terms of digital literacy level is very, very low. So we are trying to reach out to them using NIDDA because with NIDDA you have digital literacy programs that will enhance their knowledge, and because you have a permanent secretary or a director that doesn't have the technical know-how. Now that we are migrating to e-governance, so without building their capacity, without them having this technical know-how, without them improving their digital literacy skills, it's going to be difficult for you to, to migrate. And also with Neseni, we have the talent, we have the harvest talent that we did. You have a lot of people with the talent, but there is no access. So we create that door, we create that access for them, to meet with the people outside, the gladiators, the people that, can give them what they have. And that's why we are collaborating with Neseni and the sister agencies. Yeah.
Well, so now let's look at the burden of expectation. When people look at technocrats, they often expect clean answers to dirty problems, especially in cases like yours. Has public office made you more hopeful about Nigeria or more realistic?
More hopeful because I believe then when we were out of government, we were saying things is very easy to do it. But now coming, we believe it's very difficult. But I believe if a lot of people will come in, Nigeria is a country that is very, very great, that has a lot of opportunities. So you don't need to sit back and start thinking, oh, it's not going to happen. You need to come in and make it happen. So that's why I said it's very, very possible. And we are hopeful that one day we are going to have a greater country.
So now when your time in office and public life is eventually assessed, what would matter more to you? Titles, policies, signs, systems built, or minds that you changed?
Minds that have changed.
And from today, what we want to understand about knowledge, power, and purpose?
Nothing comes easier. You need to work, and dedication. The reward of hard work is more work.
That's true. The reward of seriously, I think when you know the way to work, you're always getting more work. We used to do something called rapid fire. It's just simple answer, yes or no, a simple sentence to the question. So let's quickly go over it so we can call it a day. The first one is physics or politics?
Oh, physics.
Why?
It makes me think a lot.
Okay. Equation or executive memo?
Oh, well, I'll go for equations.
Okay, lab coat or abada?
Both.
No, you need to choose one.
Lab coat.
Okay, one word for Gombe's future. Just one word.
One word for Gombe's future? A greater Gombe in the future.
Just one word.
One word for Gombe future?
Yeah.
I think I'll use the governor's word of Kogezo.
Kogezo. Okay, still 3 words. Anyways, one technology in Nigeria is so underrated.
Cybersecurity.
And one public myth about innovation you dislike.
It's stuff.
It is, but it needs answer because scientists
Like
are always
social
smart.
media, it's an innovation, but it has destroyed a lot of people.
And one book every young leader should read.
Wow. Like, I think it's a book, 48 Laws of Power.
Okay, 48 Laws of Power. Okay, I think I've seen something briefly about the book. And one thing academia taught you that politics did not.
Standing firm.
Standing firm. Okay. One thing politics taught you, again, that you will be able to apply in your real life.
Patience.
Patience. And data or instinct. Instinct or data? Instinct. Prof, science people used to cherish data a lot. Okay. Okay, Silicon Valley, Moscow or Gombe, where did you learn the hardest lesson?
Moscow.
Moscow. That's where you study, so it's possible.
Yeah.
Most important quality in leadership: intelligence, courage, or restraint?
Courage.
Courage. Okay. If not a physicist, what would you have been?
Mathematician.
It's part of it. I think you study mathematics, so yeah. What should outlive you? Your office, your ideas, or your example?
Wow. My ideas.
I think that should outlive anyone, your
Yeah.
ideas and the kind of impact they make in
Yes.
people. The last one, if you're to give a young person maybe an advice on the way to steer their life, what would it be in just one sentence?
Always try to be honest. No matter how difficult it is, no matter how much you pay, just be honest.
Thank you. Professor Abdullahi Bapa Ahmed, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
And yours is a journey that refuses easy labels. It is the story of a scientist who stepped into society's unfinished work, of a mind trained in theory, but tested in human reality, from equations to education, from research to reform, from the precision of physics to the messiness of governance. Your part raises an urgent question for our times. Can knowledge truly serve the public good? This has been Spotlight on S24 television. My name is Halima Abdurrauf, and tonight we leave you with this thought. Sometimes the brightest minds are not the ones who escape the system, but the ones who enter. And here to review these
decades, golf in Kenya was seen as a sport reserved for men, the wealthy and the well-connected. But on the rolling greens of Thika Greens Golf Resort, a quiet transformation is underway. Women are stepping onto the course, challenging stereotypes and building a community with confidence and for
alone. I just in my mind, I was like, I don't think this place will in my mind. So it was quiet. Of course, it was not doubting that, but it was quiet and welcoming. Like people will stare at you. They will not. They will wonder where is this one coming from? What are we coming to here?
that feeling of exclusion became the spark for change. In late 2023, Jacqueline Sirai, Girls School Golf, EWG, a growing movement that uses golf not only as a sport, but as a tool for mentorship, wellness, and empowerment.
So golf started 2023, towards the end of 2023. That's when now I fully registered. It's a fully registered society. And the idea was to bring women together, first of all. Yes, golf was the idea initially. But to many other things we do together. So we also have those things, mentorship.
Once with a handful of women has quickly evolved into a supportive network welcoming both experienced golfers and complete beginners. Golf coach Emmanuel Wekesa has watched the shift happen in real time. More women are taking lessons, earning handicaps, and entering tournaments.
Golf was a sport for men, but so far what I'm seeing, it has really changed. And the impact, it's a good thing because women, they are really playing, they love the sport, because each and every day, at least I get a referral from the different ladies and those who want to start. And I get new ladies, and they are doing very well. And to be honest, I'm happy with them. The progress, they are doing very well so far. Most of them, they have got a handicap. They participate in tournaments, and considering this few years from 2021 and up to now, it's amazing. They're playing, they're enjoying, they're winning.
The movement is already inspiring a younger generation. Through partnership with organizations like Girl Up, girls are being introduced to golf as a pathway to confidence, opportunity, and global exposure.
Were invited by Girls Who Golf, Madam Jacqueline, who is like our vice now. We're Gala, a UN organization for girls, supporting girls at all. So we were called for the golf clinic, and we were like, oh, why not, sis? We're not that good in golf, so we're here for training and all. And in the near future, with golfing, I hope and wish that to take me like abroad, further my golfing. As golf is not that easy, but okay, there's not easy. Just have a mind, be ready to learn, and get the best promotion being here.
For many of the girls, golf is no longer seen as an impossible sport. It is becoming a space where they can dream bigger.
Jackie is an amazing leader. Working with her is excellent because she has a way of cutting across from dealing with us who are a bit experienced to those who have never really held a club. And what I love most about her is her soft heart for the underprivileged. And that is why for me and her we ride.
At the heart of Girls Who Golf is inclusion. With the seasoned players or first-timers, every woman is encouraged to step forward and take her shot. Across Kenya's fairways, the sound of change is growing louder. With every swing, every lesson, and every new golfer stepping onto the course, these women are reshaping the future of the sport, proving that golf belongs to everyone.
Global recognition at 17, Nafisa Abdullahi Aminu from Yoruba State made history, becoming the world's best in English at the 2025 Tin Eagle Global Finals in London. Nafisa topped over 20,000 competitors from 69 countries, including many from native English-speaking nations. She excelled across comprehension, writing, grammar, and public communication. Her victory exemplifies both personal brilliance and the rise in quality of education in Nigeria. Her family credited Nafisa's success to dedication, discipline, and the enabling support of the Yoruba State government and Governor Mima Labuni's scholarship-driven reforms at NTIC. They've called on the federal government to formally give Nafisa the deserved respect and recognition. Prominent voices have joined forward for Minister Professor Lisa Edmund to actually receive awards alongside sports champions, such as the $3 $100,000 National Recognition Award. Former Vice President Bakari described her achievement as proof that the Nigerian girl child is our globally like Amara Muneli, 17-year-old winner of the 2025 Earth Prize for turning a playground into a community playground using recycled materials. John Oseni, 20, awarded the Global Child Prodigy Award in 2022 for software innovation, and Kanya Chukwutagbo Okeke, 15, creator of a Guinness World Record 12,304 square meters canvas to champion autism awareness. These stories affirm a powerful truth. When Nigerian youths are nurtured through scholarship, discipline and quality education, they don't just compete, they lead on the world stage. Should the federal government reward Abdullah and you like this performance? Share your thoughts in the comment section.
The death of Ali Khamenei marks a major turning point in global geopolitics, placing him among a group of world leaders whose rule ended through violence, military intervention, or targeted operations rather than peaceful political transition. Khamenei, who led Iran since 1989, spent decades confronting the United States and its allies over regional influence, sanctions, and Iran's nuclear ambitions. His reported killing in a foreign military strike reflects how geopolitical rivalry can escalate to the point where leadership itself becomes a strategic target. The fate of 7 leaders, in particular, illustrates how power struggles, ideological conflicts, and international intervention have repeatedly converged to end political reigns through force. In Libya, Muammar Gaddafi was killed on 20th October 2011 during the collapse of his regime in the Libyan civil war after NATO-backed airstrikes weakened his forces. His death ended more than 4 decades of rule but left Libya politically fragmented. In Iraq, Saddam Hussein lost power after the Iraq War. He was captured by U.S. forces and executed on 30th December 2006, closing a long and controversial era in Iraqi politics. Egypt experienced a dramatic political assassination when Anwar Sadat was killed on 6 October 1981 by Islamist militants during a military parade in Cairo, partly in reaction to his peace agreement with Israel. In West Africa, revolutionary leader Thomas Sankara was killed in a coup on 15 October 1987, ending a radical reform project that had begun only 4 years earlier. The early years of African independence saw a similar tragedy with Patrice Lumumba, who was executed on 17 January 1961 during a Cold War power struggle that involved both domestic rivals and foreign interests. More recently, Chad's longtime president, Idriss Deby, died on 20th April 2021 after being wounded while visiting troops fighting rebels in northern Chad, abruptly ending 3 decades of rule. Across different regions and decades, these cases reveal a critical reality of international politics. When geopolitical tensions escalate, leaders themselves can become central targets in the struggle for power. Their death rarely end the conflicts surrounding them. Instead, they often trigger new instability, reshape regional politics, and leave lasting consequences for their countries and the global order.
Hello and anything that has to do with the entertainment and creative industry. My name is Samira Osman Adam, and I will be your host for today. Today in the show, we'll be looking at the
In the heart of Abidjan, the vibrant skyline and bustling roundabout serves as a backdrop for a digital revolution led by women. As Edith Ya Brow, a prominent media entrepreneur, walks through an art gallery, she reflects on the fundamental traits required for women to thrive in Africa's fast-evolving tech sector. To her, success is built on a foundation of passion, relentless curiosity, and the patience to navigate a field where yesterday's knowledge is quickly surpassed by new innovations.
L'un des atouts majeurs qui peut permettre aux femmes de réussir.
One of the major strengths that can help women succeed in technology in Africa, particularly in Côte d'Ivoire, is patience. I would say that you first need to be very passionate. You have to love what you do, be curious as well, and enjoy researching and staying informed. You also need to enjoy learning how to learn continuously. It is a sector that evolves very quickly. It is a field in which what you learned yesterday can already be outdated.
Mais aujourd'hui, je suis très heureuse de constater qu'après plusieurs années, on a maintenant des communautés de femmes fortes.
The landscape of technology in Côte d'Ivoire has shifted dramatically over the last decade. Where there were once few female developers or leaders, a robust and supportive community of women has emerged. This collective strength is visible in the everyday cooperation taking place across the city for residential and office spaces.
Today, I'm very pleased to see that after several years, we now have strong communities of women.
On a maintenant des communautés de femmes fortes.
Media professionals and cybersecurity experts like Karine Ola are now using their platforms not just to lead, but to mentor. Ola observes that as women assess their digital competence, they are sparking a chain reaction of borders, inspiring peers in countries like Burkina Faso and Senegal to find their own voices.
Women are increasingly finding their voice and asserting themselves in a digital space. This is inspiring other neighboring countries that are watching us. I know, for example, a young woman in Burkina Faso who calls herself the Karen Ulate of Burkina because she's trying to follow my path. I have others like that in different countries. There is also Edith Bro in Senegal. People are trying to draw inspiration. They are no longer ashamed. Today, they are asserting themselves and showcasing their skills. They have realized that, thanks to digital platforms, they can make their voices heard.
The impact of this movement is deeply personal for the next generation. For young women like Kulei Gilani, Reina Armande, entering digital spaces like the DJ Firm's office has been a transformative experience. Moving past her natural shyness, she found herself leading groups and teaching technical concepts, a step that opened her mind to new logical frameworks and boosted her confidence. Similarly, former students like Kulibali Ngoyo Ngbomasita looked back at their 10-year journey with immense pride without a clear roadmap at the start. They have carved out future for women in tech.
I'm someone who is quite shy, but when I came here with my sisters, in order to help others, I had to stand in front of a group and take even all the time. This allowed me to open for others. This step helped me understand my ideas that I didn't have before.
up till today because there wasn't a career plan at the beginning. And today, I tell myself that I still have many things to accomplish. I'm on a path that can take me very far.
Qui peut m'amener très loin.
Welcome to Political Arena. I'm your host, Onie Shukra. Across Nigeria today, young people are increasingly stepping into spaces where important conversations about leadership, governance, and national development are taking place. While age has often been seen as a barrier, a new generation is proving that ideas, passion, and commitment can be just as important as experience. Joining us today is Ibrahim Zena Sonoma, a young advocate, a speaker, a youth leader, whose work is focused on peace building, inclusion, and civic engagement, and youth development. Ibrahim, welcome to Political Arena, and thank you so much for honoring our invite.
Thank you for having me, Shukara.
You've been quite remarkable, at just 17. So what would you say shaped your experience and has shaped you and has put you in the path of advocacy and leadership?
As I've equally used to voice out that I'm a child of circumstances, being brought and brought up amidst the sorrowful saga of insurgency in northeastern Nigeria has really shaped the person I am becoming. You know, we grew up, survival was the first lesson we learned, not literacy. So growing up amidst our peers, our schools being burned down, our roads to school are no longer safe, we're in constant fear, I think it raised a lot of thoughts in my head that where are the people supposed to stop what is happening to us? Why is no one doing anything? It was such thoughts coupled with the horrific experiences I had that gave birth to the modern day Ibrahim, which was actually a young boy who intentionally delved into the art of public speaking with his sole aim that I become an amplifier for the voices of my peers silenced by conflict. I could remember my father, he once told me in some years gone by, he said that, Ibrahim, anything done for you without